Good evening. I'd like to call the order of the regular meeting for Thursday, December 18th, 2025, for the Borough Assembly Chambers. I'd like to get started with the invocation led by Captain Diane Chateau of the Salvation Army, and we will follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, as we come together in this meeting, we thank you for the gift of this season and for the hope it brings. We ask for your guidance in the decisions we make today, that they may reflect your wisdom, compassion, and justice. As we serve this community, help us remember the spirit of Christmas, of giving, of peace, and of love for all. May our actions and decisions reflect the best of these values. Bless our efforts and keep us focused on what truly matters, serving others with integrity and kindness. In your name, amen. Let's do the pledge. Just to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We are gathered on the traditional homeland of the Supiaq and Alutiiq people, and we acknowledge the 10 tribes of the Kodiak Alutiiq region. We recognize the Alutiiq culture that enriches our community to this day. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Ames. Mr. Gardner.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Smiley. Mr. Whiteside.
Here.
Mr. Woods. Mayor Griffin. You have a quorum.
Hey, Mayor Griffin, Assemblymember Ames, and Assemblymember Smiley are out on personal leave. Assemblymember Woods is out on medical leave.
Move to motion to excuse Assemblymember Woods' absence due to medical reasons.
Second.
Voice vote.
Okay, voice vote, please.
All in favor, say aye.
Oh, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Okay, next item is approval of agenda and consent agenda. This is for the regular meeting minutes of November 20th, 2025.
Move to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
Second.
Voice vote.
Voice vote.
Voice vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Okay, next up is citizens' comments. There are 2 designated citizens' comments periods, one at the beginning and one at the end of the meeting. These comment periods are intended for general comments as well for the agenda items that are not part of the public hearing. We have 2 public hearing items for tonight, which are ordinance number FY 2026-13 and FY 2026-14. Comments for these items will be heard when the items are called during public hearing. Please wait until we get to that portion of the agenda. For those who wish to call in, the local number is 907-486-3231. Toll free is 1-855-492-9202. Please turn off your radio or any listening device to prevent feedback. For those in the room who wish to speak under citizens' comments, please come to the podium and sign in. Turn on the microphone, make sure the green light is on before speaking, and speak directly into the mic. Please state your name for the record and address all marks to the assembly as a body and not to any member thereof.
Hello, we're Captain David and Diane Chateau from the Salvation Army, and we just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the employees of the Borough for doing a toy drive for us. We got a nice load of toys to give out to kids from Borough and city employees. And earlier, about a month ago, we got some food for our food bank, and so we appreciate that. And we also want to thank all the citizens of Kodiak for all the things that you do to support the Salvation Army. We've had Angel Tree, and we've collected a lot of toys at Walmart and Argers and Grand Slam toys downtown. We have our bell ringing campaign that is still going on. We still have a few more days for you to come out and ring the bell if you'd like to support us. And We just had our distribution a couple of days ago.
So we served with toys and food 90 families and about 160 kids, children. So it's been a good season. And just back to bell ringing, I would like to offer a challenge to all of you to see the Borough Assembly members coming out. And it's a great chance for you to meet with the people who voted you in and also do some good in the community.
I will mention that Kodiak City Mayor Terry Haynes has done a couple of shifts for us dressed as an elf. So we'll throw that out as a challenge for you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment and your service to the community. Do we have any phone calls? No calls? Anyone else wish to make a comment?
Good evening, Assembly members. Can you hear me? For the record, my name is Sabrina Hicks. I am the Executive Director of Discover Kodiak. I want to begin by thanking the Assembly members who took the time to return my phone calls and emails over the past few days. I value communication, transparency, and listening first, and I appreciate those conversations. I was asked why Discover Kodiak and its members are concerned about the idea of using excess tourism funds, development funds, for infrastructure. The answer is simple. Once tourism development funds are allowed to be used for purposes outside their original intent, they are no longer viewed as dedicated funds, but as surplus funds. And these funds are not surplus. The transient accommodation tax was never designed or intended for general use, government use. Allowing it to be redirected, even narrowly, opens the door for it to be used for other priorities beyond housing infrastructure. That risk was made clear when one Assembly member stated support for taking up to 50% away from tourism development and increasing the current 5% bed tax to 10%. That represents a fundamental shift, not a small adjustment. During the discussion, statements were made that the community does not benefit from tourism. That is not accurate. We see the benefits every day. Tourism demand is a significant reason why air service and ferry service increase during peak season, which benefits residents as well as visitors. That seasonal demand helps sustain service overall and supports the transportation infrastructure our community relies on. In addition, locally owned flight operations play a critical role in remote village access and lodge access. These small businesses are able to remain viable year-round, in large part because of peak tourism, and it makes their operations sustainable. Because of tourism, local businesses like the Chart Room, Islander Books, Norman's Gifts, Kodiak Island Smokehouse are able to remain open year-round. These are locally owned businesses employing local residents and serving our community. Tourism in the city and the borough are interconnected. That is why Discover Kodiak is funded by both. That decision was made because the value was recognized. Housing is a real challenge, and it deserves thoughtful solutions. But addressing it by destabilizing tourism funding creates new risks rather than long-term solutions. Thank you for your time and your opportunity to comment.
Thank you for your comment. Any phone calls? No.
Oh, good evening. My name is Marty Owen, and I want to start out by saying this before I forget. I appreciate all of you serving on the Borough Assembly here. This is a tough job. It's thankless, and thank goodness there are people like you that are willing to do it. I'm on the board of Discover Kodiak and have been for a couple, 3 terms, I guess. And I was asked to do that a few years ago to represent B&B owners, and I do own a home that we use a few rooms for a B&B. I am learning more and more about Discover Kodiak in that I'm the treasurer, and I'm aware of the money we spend and what happens down there. And there's only 2 employees, and they work pretty darn hard. This time of year, things are a little bit slower, but there's still a lot of things to do to get ready for the summer season. Not the least of which is that big, beautiful book they put together every year that gets sent out to tourists and people that are potentially coming to Kodiak to go fishing or whatever they're going to do, hunting. And if you want to help out Discover Kodiak sometime, come down on a cruise ship day when there's 2 people working there and there's a steady flow of dozens and dozens and dozens of cruise ship passengers being dropped off there by the bus. This is our little visitors center, and they come in and they get directions on how to get to all our museums and how do they get to the shops and stuff like that. So Sabrina and her staff of 1, they do that all day long, and it's a lot of work. Now, the comment we heard the other day about using some of the tourism tax money to go towards housing development kind of rankled some of us on the board. And let me just give you a little example of what happened at the city a few years ago. There was a time when we had a 5% sales tax. We raised it to 6%, and it was purported that we would use that extra 1% to help the harbors, set that money aside for infrastructure development. It's great. It was like $500,000 when we first started out, and it grew to about $1 million. And, we were putting that money away to fix our harbors. Well, a few years back, we had a need to build a new police department. And we had to figure out some way to pay for it. And so they took that money away, and they're using it to pay off the bond on the police department. And now we've got a harbor that's falling apart, and the money we should have been setting aside for it got diverted, and now we've got no way to fix a harbor that's 30-plus years old and literally turning into sand and gravel. So please, consider that kind of thing when you're making decisions to redirect funds. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Good evening. My name is Jesse Glauman. I also serve on the Discover Kodiak board. I'm also a local business owner very directly tied to the tourism industry. I can't, those are 2 tough acts to follow. I think the message is pretty clear. But my biggest concern when I heard the redirection of these funds was really what Marty was speaking to was I think we open a pretty dangerous door of using something that's not earmarked but dedicated to tourism and developing tourism for something that is not tourism. And I think the danger is if we open that door, it's going to be pretty tough to close. What happens 5 years down the road? What happens a year down the road? I don't know. But I do know that that fund was developed for the continuation of Kodiak's continued tourism development, and I think that's where that money belongs. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for everything you guys do. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the comment. Any phone calls? Anyone else like to come up and make a comment?
Hello, board members, assembly members. I'm Susan Johnson, local business owner and also a member of Discover Kodiak. We employ roughly 45 employees year-round, try to keep them busy and support other local businesses. Tourism is definitely a large part of our business, as well as corporate government, everything else. So when we talk about, I always call it bed tax, 5% bed tax, that's how I refer to it. It's supposed to be allocated for tourism in the tourist industry, and on the site it says allocated for tourism programs, enhancement projects, admin costs. I just think, I do feel like it's just not to skew its intended use from tourism. And I don't feel that like the hard infrastructure for Kodiak is part of the actual tourism focus. And that's what I would discourage from doing that. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any phone calls? Anyone else wish to come up and make a comment? Well, thank you everyone for taking the time out of your day to come up and share your thoughts with us. We do really appreciate that. So we're going to move on to, I don't believe we have any awards or presentations. Any committee reports?
Yep.
Ms. Roberts.
The Kodiak College Advisory Council met to discuss whether to pause the council's efforts or to continue. After discussion, we agreed to move forward and focus on strengthening our efforts, including recruiting new members. We encourage everyone in the community who's interested to support the college to consider joining the council.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Thank you. So moving on to the public hearing. First is ordinance number FY 2026-13, accepting and appropriating funds from the 2020 Alaska Pacific Cod Federal Fishery Disaster Relief Distribution. Staff report, Seema Groot, administrative official.
Move to adopt ordinance FY 2613.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Now we do the hearing.
Oh,
Not yet.
okay, excuse me. Out of order there. Staff report, please. Seema Groot, administrative official.
Thank you, DPO Whiteside. When a federal fishery disaster is declared, direct federal finance assistance may be provided by fishing communities in the form of grants, direct payments, cooperative agreements, loans, or contracts to help offset the economic loss associated with these events that led to the declared disaster. The 2022 Alaska Pacific Cod disaster was caused by warmer than average ocean temperatures, which led to a decline in Pacific cod biomass and a reduced fishery. As a result of this event, KIB was affected by the loss of fishery tax revenue. The borough manager received notification from the Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission that the Kodiak Island Borough is eligible for a one-time payment of $156,158.40 for the 2020 Alaska Pacific Cod Federal Fishery Disaster. The borough manager has submitted the documents requested by the Pacific State Marine Fisheries Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will open the public hearing. Phone numbers to call in are 907-486-3231. Toll free is 1-855-492-9202. And for those in the room, if you'd like to come up and make comment for the public hearing, please sign in and state your name for the record. Turn on the microphone before speaking. Address all remarks to the assembly as a body and not to any member thereof. And if calling in, please turn off any listening devices to prevent feedback. No phone calls? I'll give it a few more seconds. All right, we will close the public hearing and open up for assembly discussion. All right, So we will roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next is ordinance number FY 2026-14, accepting and appropriating funds from the 2021 Chignik Salmon Federal Fishery Disaster Relief Distribution.
Move to adopt ordinance number 26, Tech 14.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report, Seema Groot, AO.
Thank you, DPO Whiteside. Much like the salmon, the 2021 Chignik salmon disaster, cod one, disaster refers to a collapse of the salmon fishery due to low sockeye abundance, leading to closures and economic hardship for fishermen and communities. As a result of this event, KIB was affected by the loss of fishery tax revenue. The borough manager received notification from the Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission that the Kodiak Island Borough is eligible for a one-time payment of $41,557.81 for the 2021 Chignik salmon fishery disaster. The borough manager has submitted the documents requested by the Pacific State Marine Fisheries Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we'll open the public hearing. The number to call in is 907-486-3231, or toll-free 1-855-492-9202. For those in the room, if you wish to make a comment, please sign in and state your name for the record. Turn on the microphone before speaking. Address all remarks to the assembly as a body and not to any member thereof. If calling in, please turn off any listening devices to prevent feedback. Give folks a few seconds here to call in if they wish. All right, so we will close the public hearing and open for assembly discussion. Yep.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm not seeing any items for discussion. Roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Up next on the agenda is the Borough Manager's Report. Seema Groot, AO, please.
Thank you, DPO Whiteside. In the Manager's Department, Legal Representation, Scott Brannickson has agreed to continue to represent KIB as the attorney of record for the 2025 AHF determination if Leslie Need isn't able to. We are currently recruiting for ENF Director, Baylor Landfill Supervisor, Solid Waste Manager, Environmental Specialist, Treatment Plant Operator Lead, Treatment Plant Operator Trainee, and Temporary Laborer in the ENF Department, and a Code Enforcement Officer in Community Development. In Finance, the Tyler Conversion staff is entering information in both the new and legacy tax collection systems and will continue this dual entry through at least February to ensure payment postings, penalty, and interest calculations and account balances are correct. Finance, IT, and assessing have reviewed the property access module and are awaiting several programming items to finish before it can go live. Fred and I actually just looked at some of those updates today, and we're really close on being able to go live with that property access portion. In community development, the CDD held 2 workshops, one on December 9th and one on December 11th. While these workshops were sparsely attended, the business and resident surveys that are currently live and online have received several responses. The residential survey and the commercial surveys links are provided in your report, and you guys can feel free to fill them out if you haven't, and those will be available to the public through December 31st. The Planning and Zoning Commission work session was scheduled for December 10th, 2025, had to be canceled due to lack of quorum. At the regular meeting, which was held yesterday, the commission approved a variance for encroachments into setbacks by an existing structure on Natalia Way. And the report, this says that the commission approved a similar use, but it actually postponed it to the November 14th, January 14th, P&Z, because there was a lot of discussion about what they wanted to do for that similar use. So it was not approved, it was postponed. In information technology, IT is continuing to update and patch KIB systems and is supporting the deployment of the new Tyler software. They are testing and applying new system patches and security hotfixes to the KIB systems and are also beginning the planning for the implementation of a video surveillance system at North Star. IT is also working on the deployment of internet security servers for the landfill systems as part of the overall setup for their improved internet. And GIS is continuing to assist assessing with updating property information and is also assisting KIB staff with public notice information as requested. They also have completed the migration of the back-end scripting that will update the new Tyler Prop Access website when it goes live. In assessing, there are 4 outstanding applications, 3 seniors and 1 disabled vets that remain undetermined. And we have begun processing supplements in the new software as well as continuing to do the double entry into Harris for finance. The village trips with Canna have been completed, and there are 2 scheduled visits with the senior center for senior applications that will be held on December 19th and January 13th. And I'm still going to ask for the assembly to come in and help us with the call dates on January 9th. As of this morning, we had 270 seniors that had not applied and 70 disabled vets that we hadn't received applications for. Now, we have 3 weeks to get a lot in, but it's holiday, so we're not anticipating a lot of people coming in during that time. But it's really important that you guys, they love that you guys call them, so we'd appreciate if you'd show up for that. Assessing is working on villages and remote areas in their field work, and we have scheduled Monday for the last bit of Port Lions and Larson Bay, so we should be done with all our field work as of Monday if the weather holds up. For exemption appeals, the Alludic Heritage Foundation trial is scheduled for July 27th through 29th, and that's for the 2024 exemption decision. The 2025 exemption decision, the Heritage Foundation has decided to appeal. Therefore, we are now, all of us, in the ex parte communication rules for this case. Now, that affects the Assembly, the Clerk's Office, and the Assessor's Office. In engineering and facilities, during the holiday season, the Touch Tank and Aquarium at KFRC will be open for extra hours. Their regular hours are Tuesdays 12 to 4, and the holiday hours are, they're also open 12 to 4 on November 24th through the 26th. Oh, I guess that's already gone, sorry. And December 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th. The Angel Tree was hosted by us, provided lots of gifts for the kids through the Salvation Army, and Patricia was nice enough to give us a picture of all of the toys that were donated and collected by staff. At the Research Court Apartments, the lift stations were having electrical issues. Staff worked with NODAC to obtain new pumps and proper electrical components. The work was completed on December 17th. Following the recent snowstorm, staff and contractors have been actively working to clear and remove accumulated snow. The current facilities contract does not cover snow hauling. However, staff contacted the contractor to obtain hauling costs, and together with KIB School District, snow is being hauled to the Dark Lake area. Both the Woman's Bay Fire Department and the landfill had garage door issues recently. At the Woman's Bay Fire Department, the manager directed staff to solicit emergency procurement quotes for replacing 2 garage doors. Work was initially to begin on December 17th, but that didn't happen, and staff will provide an update to the assembly once work is officially scheduled. For the landfill door, the downstairs garage door used for dump truck access to haul bales to the landfill's open face experienced an issue where the beam supporting the motor became loose and was shifting as the door opened and closed. Staff contracted Friends Contractors, and the vendor who performed they are the vendor that performed previous repairs for an emergency repair quote. And following this, staff was directed to identify a vendor capable of providing annual preventive maintenance evaluations for the main floor doors, and the work was completed. The Solid Waste Contract Committee, or SWCC, and the Assembly have been given the proposed code changes to the solid waste code to be reviewed at the, or that agenda item will be introduced on January 8th, and at the landfill, the Regional Solid Waste Management Plan update is due February 28th. KIB received the draft plan on November 24th, and KIB and CANA provided comments to the contractor. KIB staff sent that draft to the Solid Waste Advisory Board and the Solid Waste Contract Committee, and hosted a comment review meeting with Jacobs and stakeholders on December 16th. Jacobs will be providing a list of responses to all comments and how they are going to address any concerns. The landfill fence repairs have continued to work with, or staff has continued to work with the landfill and the ADF&G to continue making repairs to the fence. The manager and staff participated in a meeting with ADEC and ADF&G to discuss a bear management plan, and the manager is in the process of drafting that plan to provide to ADEC for review. The staff is also working with ADEC to properly dispose of the contaminated soil located at the landfill, which is 71 Super Sacks. On November 16th, staff was directed to proceed with the small-scale destructive testing repairs in the lifeguard room, and staff reached out to JYW for a cost estimate. The fuel spill assistant continues at both the long-term care and Carlick facilities, and the Industrial Pump Alaska has shipped the pumps assemblies for KFRC, and the decontamination project has been put on pause awaiting directional response from ADEC to see if the system is still needed based on sampling KIB has conducted since the discharge permit was issued. Both elevator systems are on island and being stored at the shipping yard, and the installation teams are due to arrive and begin work on January 5th at the Kodiak Middle School. Small projects didn't change, neither did the contracts that are coming up for renewal and rebids, and there's a list of all of the meetings. And also attached is the projects, 2025 projects office reports for December. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Groot? All right, so we'll move on to messages from the Borough Mayor. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Very briefly, have we had any results from our software contract for the short-term rail monitoring?
I know that there was a kickoff meeting, but I am not aware
right.
of what
Yeah, if
has
we could
happened.
just-
It happened with the city, too.
Okay,
so-
yeah, if we could just ask for an update in the
update?
next manager's report, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, I know we are, and members of the Assembly, I know we're past the citizens' comments, but we do have a call that has been holding for more than 10 minutes. Would you like to take this call, or would you
Sure.
like me to ask them to call
Yeah,
later?
are we comfortable with that?
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
absolutely.
Okay, go ahead, Irene, thank you.
You are now answering a call from the queue.
Assembly meeting, please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Gerald Friend. I'm with Friend Contractors.
Go ahead, please.
Hey, Commission, thank you for taking my time in the call and stuff like that. We actually are the contractors looking to build this project. And we're not asking for a change of zoning. We're not changing the code or anything. As you stated earlier with Mr. Heiner, all we're asking to do is we could go out there and build a church. This is similar to a church in the usage, what we're planning on doing with them. It's a small project. Where we're looking at doing this project, if you go past from town, you go past Mill Bay Beach, and you have the hairpin turn right there before you drop down into Black Canyon, the logging road is right there. We take a right on that logging road, go up on top of the hill, and it's a small little section of the property back up in there. We're quite a ways.
Mr. Friend, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is the regular meeting for the Assembly. I believe you're referring to a planning and zoning agenda item?
Yes. I
Yes,
thought
sir.
that's what we called in for.
This is the regular meeting for the Borough Assembly.
Okay. I called in for the wrong one, so you guys aren't looking at the rezone
No, sir.
or the similar use.
No, sir.
Okay, I got the wrong number, guys.
Hey,
Sorry,
no,
thanks.
no problem. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Bye-bye. Okay, so continuing the agenda, messages from the Borough Mayor. Mayor Griffin is out on personal leave, so we will move on to consideration of calendar for unfinished business. We have no unfinished business. Next item on the agenda is new business. We'll start with contracts. Contract number FY 2026-25, landfill scale shake platform project with CCI Industrial Services LLC. Mr. Johnson.
Move to authorize the borough manager to execute contract number fiscal year 26-25 for landfill scale shack platform replacement with CCI Industrial Services LLC.
Second.
Staff report, Ms. Groot.
Thank you, DPO Whiteside. The existing wooden platform at the landfill presents significant safety concerns as staff and drivers must walk along the scale railing to inspect loads across or access the scale shack and sign waste tickets, creating heightened risks, particularly during winter conditions. To address these issues and improve durability, staff worked with Jensen Yorba Wall to design a new metal platform that eliminates these hazards and provides longer-lasting, low-maintenance solutions. The design was approved by the Architectural Review Board on July 23, 2025, and due to long material lead times, the project was bid in fall 2025 with anticipated completion by May 30th, 2026. Following the October 7th, 2025 bid advertisement and November 5th, 2025 bid opening, 2 bids were received. Although H Construction was initially identified as the lowest bidder, a protest from CCI Industrial Services led to a determination that H Construction's bid was non-responsive due to the omission of a written demobilization cost, resulting in rescission of the initial notice and award to CCI Industrial Services as the next lowest responsible and responsive bidder. I'd like to point out that you have alternatives in this process to either take no action, reject all bids, award a base bid only, or award both the base and alternative bids. Staff would like to note that those safety issues were brought brought forward by both contractors and citizens. And that the project started in 2023 and has gone through the complete ARB process in multiple steps. And at the very least, if you would consider just the base bid award, we'd sure appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I open this for discussion, I guess just more information, thinking about these types of items are, and Mr. Allen, if you wouldn't mind coming up and walking us through what the base bid and alternative look like before we discuss as well. But just a reminder for the Assembly, when projects reach this point, so we have two different things that happen when we look at projects. So we have opportunity cost, and that's when projects in conception phase, and folks think about, okay, maybe we can do something to improve a facility or add a service to the community, and we have a known cost or a good idea of what that fiscal note would look like. In this case, we're well past that stage, but we didn't know that initially. So in these types of scenarios where we're finding out, an idea is submitted, whether it's from staff or from the Assembly, or in this case, both, and this idea is moved forward by staff and in this case, one member of the Assembly, and it goes to the Architecture Review Board, and now it lands on our desk. So factoring in termination cost is what I'm getting at. So money has been spent up to this point, including staff time, many staff hours, time with the ARB. So when we think about these decisions, try to remember to factor in termination costs. We do lose money at this point if we decide to vote no, and I'm not suggesting we vote one way or another, but just things to consider. Mr. Allen, if you could please walk us through the base bid and alternate, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And to the point about cost, the timeline, this did come for clarification from a complaint in July 24th, 2023 is when the initial report came in. And at that point in time, it was initiated as a proposal, and then it was brought forward the first time in July 18th, 2024 for the ARB to review, in which then it became a viable option. We get direction from the Assembly and our boards as staff. As of November 6th, 2024, we had spent $17,330 on design based on the direction of the ARB, to your point about that cost there. Carrying it forward, the review went on from May 6, 2025, all the way out until the final approval, which was October 7th, 2025, and that's when the staff time really picked up. Now here we are today, so that equates to a total of 2 years, 4 months, and 24 days that these projects take cradle to grave. So I just wanted to use some time there to explain kind of from our end, that's what we see. Your base bid for this consists of, and I do believe everyone got photos as requested. I tried to make sure I got those to you. That platform that you see there was actually built by staff for clarity. So that was built by staff that's no longer with us, just to make access easier to the scale. But the base bid is to remove the existing metal stairs that are there, remove that wooden platform that was created, which is a total base bid amount for the CCI contract. Let me make sure I have the right tab open here. $125,253 is the base bid, and that would give you, looking at plan view west or plan left, that gives you the entire metal platform that goes on the left-hand side of that for accessibility for people coming into the scale. I had a discussion with staff, and then we could potentially redirect cars instead of doing the loop on the reverse side. They would just, to Assembly Member Gardner's point, make the loop, and then they could have a safe platform to step out on the outside. The alternate is for the platform on both sides, which then allows cars to go either way in and out, and having a safe platform to step off of that's not a bull rail or like a 6-inch metal pipe. And essentially those are the two options that are before you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Assembly discussion. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. So I like saying that, it's possible for two things to be true at once. It's true that it is absolutely infuriating to, as a staff member myself in a different capacity, to put months to years into a project to get it to bid award and then have it shelved, because once it's shelved, By the time the dust gets blown off it, codes have changed, standards have changed. And the design you had, if you can use it at all, you're paying for extensive rework, which is infuriating and frustrating. Unfortunately, we're all beholden to the elected officials who have to vote to put the taxpayer dollar towards these projects, which is the second thing that is also simultaneously true. There's such thing as a sunk cost fallacy. Because we've spent money on something, getting it to a point doesn't mean that that spending should necessarily go forward. I'm a little uncomfortable with the circumstances of this vote tonight because there's only 4 of us, and so if it's not unanimous, it can't go through. And knowing that there was some concerns about it, I would like to move to postpone until the next regular assembly meeting on 15 January 2026.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second? So, Madam Clerk, please remind me of process.
Motion to postpone is, you have a second, and it's debatable, so you can have discussion focused on postponing this to the next meeting. If there's no discussion, we'll proceed to a vote, and then if it passes, it will be in the unfinished business section of the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, so the
Thank
motion's
you.
been seconded. It's open for discussion for postponement. Mr. Gardner.
Remind me as well, if he makes a motion to postpone and I vote no on that, since there's only 4 of us, that won't pass, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So-
It's already on the floor, the
I'm sorry.
The motion to postpone is already on the table.
Okay.
It's already been made and seconded. Thank you.
So, I guess you guys are going to have to convince me because this is just way too much money on this project. I understand how far it's gone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the right thing to do, especially not after we just did this vote on these mill-based stairs. We can't just keep throwing crazy money at projects like this. And I apologize to staff. I know you guys have worked on this. It's not anything personal, but this is way too expensive. So before you guys take your vote on whether to actually postpone this, you've got to convince me on this project.
Mr. Johnson.
I made the motion to postpone because none of us are the mayor. The mayor's the only one with veto authority. When we get down to 4 votes, it gives all of us a de facto veto authority, and I don't think that's the intent of our position. So by allowing the full assembly to come back and have another discussion on it, we can vote as a body then whether or not to move it forward. So that was the intent of moving to postpone to the next meeting.
Mr. Gardner?
I like what you said, Dave. Yeah, I'll go ahead and vote to postpone so that the entire assembly gets a chance to think about this, but only under the only in the case that we do get to have another robust discussion about this. It's too much money. There's got to be a way to drive the cost down on this project. I cannot stomach another crazy 6-figure set of stairs, even though it is connected to a platform, and I've looked over those plans. It's just, we need something simpler. It's way too much. I know we already spent $20,000 on planning it, but this is crazy. It's just crazy. So in order to get the entire assembly's voice heard on this before we do a vote, I guess you're right, David, is not the intent for any one of us to have just veto authority, which I guess I would on this. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any more discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, members of the Assembly, could I just give you a little quick overview when it comes to failing items that's on the agenda so that everyone is aware what the rules are in the code? So let's say, for example, you failed a motion at a meeting. That doesn't mean that it can't be brought up at the next meeting. So the code allows you to, let's say you fail something, an item at this meeting, it still can be introduced or presented to you at the next meeting. If it fails the second time, it cannot be brought back, I think, in 6 months. So those are the rules that we have in place. It can be brought back only with the majority vote of the assembly. But if it's not presented to, or if it hasn't failed twice in a row, it could be presented again.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
This roll call vote will be on the motion to postpone at the next regular meeting. Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes to postpone this to the January 15 meeting unanimously.
Thank you. Next up is contract FY 2026-42 Port Lions School Emergency Fire Alarm Panel Replacement with Taylor Fire Protection in the amount of $169,292.
Move to authorize the Borough Manager to execute contract fiscal year 2642 for the Port Lions School Emergency Fire Alarm Panel Replacement with Taylor Fire in the amount of $169,292.
Second.
Staff report, Ms. Groot.
Thank you, DPO Whiteside. At the most recent Borough and School District Maintenance meeting, the Borough was notified that the Port Lions School Fire Alarm Panel is malfunctioning, creating a significant concern for students and staff. The panel has been triggering false alerts multiple times per day, disrupting instruction and potentially desensitizing occupants to actual emergency warnings. The school district has offered to contribute up to $50,000 to help move this project forward. The Borough Manager directed staff to issue an emergency request for proposals to replace the Port Lions School Fire Alarm Panel, conduct an on-site verification of existing devices, ensure all components are compatible with the new panel, and prepare the necessary documentation for the upgrade. Staff issued the RFP on November 21st and distributed it to qualified Alaskan fire protection agencies. Due to the urgency of this life safety issue, a shortened proposal period was established with submissions due November 26th. 2 proposals were received. Staff contacted both contractors for some clarifications, which is allowed per KIBC 3.30.050 Section D. Both contractors submitted updated proposals with the clarifications included. Based on review of the updated proposals, staff determined that Taylor Fire was the lowest cost, responsive, and responsible bidder. Our project manager, Cody Allen, is here tonight to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Assembly discussion. Ms. Roberts.
I think the number one priority in any school building is the student and staff safety, and I think passing this contract supports that. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously 4-0.
Thank you. Next up is contract number FY 2026-43, Borough Building Automation Services Agreement with Long Building Technologies. Mr. Johnson.
Move to authorize the Borough Manager to execute contract fiscal year 2643 for the Borough Building Automation Services Agreement with Long Building Technologies.
Staff report, Ms. Groot.
Second.
Nope, excuse me.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report, Ms. Groot.
Thank you, DPO Whiteside. The Kodiak Island Borough building depends on Long Building Technologies for its building automation system. I am just going to pass this over to Cody to give a good staff report. I know that you guys asked for a different kind of deal where we could maybe just go for not the 5-year term, and he has got all of that stuff situated and would really be better at doing
That's
this.
on the next item.
Oh, no, but this one is requiring something. Sorry, you're right. But he's going to do this staff report too.
Mr. Allen, please take it away.
No problem. Essentially, building automation system, Previously, we went over this at the work session, but the borough building, the main items that are covered by this are things like our new boiler system that was just installed, our HVA system, generation, all the new that's been invested into this building. In the conversations at the request of the assembly through the manager from the work session, I reached back out to Long to see kind of what the bottom line of what we must have to have a continued service. And of your options there, licensing is the mandated requirement. Our licensing has been expired, and it's kind of like, think of like your Outlook or your update for your software for your computer. Essentially, it's no longer going to be in service and it's being sunset. So our IT is pushing us more than anything to get that licensing. And so that's your total cost of $4,040 for 5 years, or at an annual cost of $808. It's the annual cost no matter what, but the licensing gets updated every 4 years. Looking forward on an agenda item, in order to get everything updated, there'll be a slight change on the next agenda item in cost, which incurs the traveling required for both facilities. It was just easier to loop it into that one.
Thank you. Assembly discussion? Mr. Gardner.
Are we, yeah, I just want to be clear on this one, 2643. I think we were all kind of in agreement that we were just going to update the licensing, yes?
That is what I understood, and so that new dollar amount would be that 4040.
Just want to make sure we're not getting confused between those two items.
So, Mr. Allen, just to make sure we're not confusing the two, this agenda item and the next. So, the current item in front of us here to maintain the system for the facility we're in right now, I kind of view both of these as like similar to medical insurance. You know, you can have different tiers based on the health of the individual. In this case, the health of the facility. Is there any reason we should consider, or any recommendation from your end that we should consider something in addition to license? For example, maybe a one-time site cost. Do we have any red flags that are or warning signs in the facility that may shift us into leaning into one of those other options?
So essentially, I didn't ask for the one-time cost because that wasn't the direction from the work session. So I think it would probably be similar to that annual cost, just for clarification, of $1,725 for an optional 4 years. I guess I think, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, but I think there's some confusion among the assembly of what this is for. And so it's not really insurance. It's not. It's nothing of that. It's like the diagnostic system for the facility. And so all these sensors and things that they're in need of replacing the software licensing is going to give us access to just continue using the system as is. So if any of those sensors are not been functioning for years or faulty, they're not going to be updated with that. It's just going to be status quo. And so when I look at things like this as a building automation system, I think of like everywhere else. If you're thinking healthcare, it's monitoring your air pressures, it's monitoring your temperatures, it's monitoring that motor that's suddenly getting hot. And so it gives you a little bit of extra. In terms of insurance, it's more of assurance that things are working as they should versus not. Now, to answer your question specifically about the building, absolutely. There's new infrastructure that was installed. That boiler project went on for like 2.5 years. It just got wrapped up. We have heating issues in the facility. We have issues with air handlers and things like that you're going to spend probably more money with our services contractors, who we just got done working with today and yesterday, troubleshooting things that we may not be able to figure out because of the systems giving us one maybe inaccurate or erroneous result, where we're trying to meet that requirement because we think that's true, but we're not the technicians and it's proprietary software.
All right, so that's appreciate that information. And so my follow-up to that would be, looking at remote only or full service. It sounds like we do have the capacity here if we went remote only, where we have remote visits where folks can seemingly, as I understand it, they can advise us on how to address the problem, but then we contract that out. And if I understand you correctly, that will likely come in with a higher fiscal note than if we were to go with the service?
Absolutely. So the remote only option is for 2 remote visits. So say your boilers go down, or you start having like a heat signal or some sort of issue where you can't control like an outside louver and we're just getting a lot of cold air that's coming in. The remote only is going to allow that person to log on to their software and see what's going on and kind of point us in the general direction of what they think is wrong. But they still have to come down and do the diagnostics, and so that'll come at the travel cost that's inside the proposal at that flat rate fee, and then you pay the hourly rate. Something else to take into consideration, which since inflation has been a big deal, all of our service providers that are coming down from Anchorage are now charging us an hourly standby rate, so like a rate even if there's no work. There's the travel and cancellation and weather delay rates, but that's upwards of anywhere from $100 to $200 an hour just to stand by to work on equipment.
Appreciate that. So my thoughts on this are, I understand that the near-term cost for the full service it's high. It's, $17,245 a year. However, thinking about ultimately what the cost would be if our systems fail, would be, as I understand it, quite a bit higher than that. So thinking about long-term planning versus near-term cost, I'm leaning towards full service for the reasons stated, that we do have systems here that, should they fail, the cost to even have them diagnosed would likely reach the point of the cost for just the full service to get folks here to fix it. So I'm leaning towards full service. We touched on this briefly on Tuesday for just the licensing. I totally understand the logic there and agree with that logic. But thinking, again, long-term planning, what's going to cost less and require fewer tax dollars to keep this facility maintained. I'd like to, that said, continue discussion. Mr. Gardner.
Cody, a lot of these systems in this building are new, correct?
Regarding like the heating and ventilation systems, correct. The boilers and everything are new.
Are they under warranty?
The mechanical systems are, but not the controls.
Okay.
Right now, I guess to clarify that, I should say the systems are new. The controls have not been, we're not a part of that project for whatever reason before my time. And so they are functioning, but it's kind of like you don't have any control, hence why this room's cold. But then if you go to IT, it's hot. If you go to my office, it's freezing. It's not connected to the control system. So you just have an on-off.
I don't know. I still lean for just the licensing on this building. It lacks the complexity of the KFRC building. And I thought that was kind of where we stood with that whole discussion. And granted that a lot of the systems are on the newer side, and there may be some warranty available that, maybe Mr. Allen's not even aware of. Well, you seem very, very educated on the subject. Yeah, I'm just for the licensing on this one. The distribution of the heat and the controls, that all sounds like a separate matter to me than the software does.
Ms. Roberts.
Cody, could you speak to that?
That's literally what the software does. And I would just like to point out on page 7 of your packet there, it should be highlighted. I printed mine off in black and white to save costs, but it says if no on-site or remote visits are selected, meaning that if you go licensing only, no technician visits are included in this agreement. All analytics platform findings and tasks will be worked on separately billed time and material visits or proposed fixed price project quotes per approval. And so what that means for the staff and for the community as a whole, you're going to pay that MOB and DMOB rate every time we have to call them to Kodiak. And because we have to get quotes of $500 anything per code, anything over 500 requires multiple quotes. That means we're going to have to try to reach out to somebody else. You can't do that because it's proprietary technology. And so they're the only people that can work on it because they're licensed. It's their equipment. And so just to provide you insight on future cost.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of those where I think I just have to hold my nose and vote yes. I don't like being beholden to licensed software, and this is why, because, you can pay us the bare minimum and we won't turn it off versus you can pay what I see is a pretty exorbitant amount if you want it to actually work. isn't a great business, isn't a very friendly business model. I would hope that over the course of this contract, we will explore every possible option to see that this organization is the best fit for us. And if other local users, the city of Kodiak for their buildings, KEA, CANA, whoever, KIBSD, are using, they're all using controls. So if we can look for partnership opportunities, maybe even share the cost to get somebody sent to a trade school to learn this software. Again, those aren't all things we can't fix tonight, but I'd really like to see a better way forward on this when it comes back around.
Is a 1-year option available for this? So if we get the licensing for 1 year and we can kind of see how these new systems are settling in and revisit this in a year?
It's the same as the next item. I think I could call and negotiate that. We've unfortunately long technologies is what everyone's using. Siemens is the alternative that will service this area, and it seems like they would be willing to honor that price. It's just it adds a small dollar amount, roughly I think is about $4,000 for travel back and forth for the 2 visits.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Gardner.
Cody, you're the most educated person on this subject. I could see going for the full service for 1 year. But if that's the case, if we go full service for 1 year, do you think that's going to remediate some of the issues that you have? I mean, I was unaware that, different offices in this building are experiencing, such fluctuations. So I guess what I'm asking is, what would you do?
I don't like to share opinions, but if you're asking for a recommendation from staff, my recommendation to the assembly, if your intent is to move forward with the full service on the next item on the agenda, I would not do the full service on this one because we're already going to have staff from the same company coming to the island. So you'd benefit from a remote licensing, and we could negotiate T&M while they're on island, which I already have a travel cost negotiated in that contract you'll see in moments. And that way we could then at least still have the coverage, but use them while they're on island. And we are doing that with a shared cost. Providence is having some issues with theirs as well, so get them while they're here.
So, again, I'm still licensing only.
Is that the remote only option you're suggesting?
I would suggest if the intent is to forward that other contract on, remote only would give you the opportunities if we had something happen, say the boilers went down and we got them back up, but then we lost all of our controls on a Sunday, our maintenance supervisor could call this company and get a diagnostics started on the system before work started on Monday.
Remote only for 1 year?
That sounds reasonable to me, given, these new systems and the likely trajectory of, well, I guess I won't speak to the next agenda item, excuse me. But the remote only option makes sense to me. It's far less expensive than the full service, but gives a little more latitude to problem solve and get some things fixed in a more cost effective manner versus just licensing.
I can stomach that.
So, Madam Clerk, as far as process for these options, do we need to make a motion for selecting the option prior to voting on the contract?
Right now, the way that Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, members of the Assembly, the motion that is before you is to authorize the Borough Manager to execute contract number FY 2643 for the Building Automation Services Agreement with Long Building Technologies. It doesn't specify how long, but if you would like to amend that motion in order to make sure that your wishes are carried through in the contract, you may want to amend and just give instruction that it is for a 1 year agreement, if that's your desire.
Mr. Johnson.
I have confidence in the manager and staff that they're going to know the direction of tonight. I don't like hemming them in to an exact position any more than necessary. So me personally, I'm willing to trust our staff to do what we've asked.
It's the holidays. I just feel like something could get lost in translation. So I would move to amend the motion to signify that we are going with the remote-only option on this building for 1 year.
Okay, do we have a second?
If there's no second, the motion will die. Okay.
Okay, motion
Okay.
Motion
The motion
fails.
died.
Okay, motion
Okay.
fails. So back to discussion.
Okay.
No discussion?
We're back to the original motion.
So back to the original motion, we have yet to select, we would have to make a motion, have it seconded, open for discussion to choose one of the options, or we take no action, correct?
The motion before you is the one that I stated earlier, so
Mhm.
that still stands. We can
Knowing
do a roll
that staff will
call.
do it for the 1-year remote.
Okay, comfortable with that?
Yeah, if SEMA says it's so, then I'm comfortable with that.
All right. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Moving on to the next contract, number FY 2026-44, Kodiak Fisheries Research Center, Long Building Technologies, Building Automation Service Agreement. Mr. Johnson.
Move to authorize the Borough Manager to execute contract number fiscal year 2644 for the Kodiak Fisheries Research Center Building Automation Services Agreement with Long Building Technologies.
Second.
Staff report, Ms. Garrett.
Thank you, DPO Whiteside. I am smart enough to just hand it over to Cody to begin with.
Okay, good evening again, Assembly members. Same discussion as before, but this is for the Kodiak Fisheries Research Center, which is a little bit more complex and complicated. As directed from the Assembly through the manager at the work session, I reached back out to Long Building Technologies. They are the proprietary technology holder for this facility as well. They updated their annual cost from the $31,281 to $36,973 for a 1-year locked-in option with 4 optional years at that same cost. I want to be clear that that cost did go up because it does. I brought in a travel for both locations to get the licensing updated, and that was a cost share as spoke previously. But essentially, it's the same format, same benefit as the previous proposal that you had at the work session, just with a new refined cost.
Thank you. Assembly discussion. Mr. Johnson.
Cody, thank you. That's a tight turnaround we asked of you to go back to them, figure something out. You not only did what we asked, but you also got I think, a pretty commendable travel schedule put into there. So I just want you to know I appreciate the time and work you put into this.
Okay, Mr. Gardner.
Full service 1 year, right?
Any further discussion? Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call vote on the motion, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Moving on to the next agenda item, resolutions. There are none, so we'll move to ordinances for introduction. First up is ordinance number FY 2026-16, amending Kodiak Island Borough Code Chapter 5.01 regarding liquor licenses to clarify the methods and basis for borough protests for issuance of a new license, renewal of an existing license, transfer of an existing license, and review of the continued operation of a licensee. Mr. Johnson.
Move to advance ordinance number fiscal year 2616 to public hearing at the next regular meeting of the Assembly.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer Whiteside and members of the Assembly. In 2022, the Alaska Legislature enacted a bill revising and modernizing Alaska's alcoholic beverage laws, as well as integrating new statutory changes into the Alaska Administrative Code. The new regulations became effective license procedures, along with a new section addressing the protest of licenses continued operation. They're also called biannual review. The Assembly had an opportunity to review this ordinance in detail at the November 13, 2025 work session and gave consensus for its introduction. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Assembly discussion. Nothing. Thank you, Nova, for packaging up all this and continuing to educate us on this extremely complex topic. We really appreciate your help.
You're welcome.
Roll call motion on the vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Moving on to other items. First is confirmation of mayoral and assembly appointments to the different boards, committees, and commissions. Mr. Johnson.
Move to confirm the mayoral appointments of the following: Brian Himmelblum and Joseph Maurer for terms to expire December 31st, 2028 on the Parks and Recreation Committee. Sarah Frazier for a term to expire December 31st, 2028 on the Planning and Zoning Commission Borough seat. Alicia Flores, Judith Phillips, and Lawrence Van Dale to the at-large seats for terms to expire December 31st, 2028 on the Solid Waste Advisory Board, and assembly appointments of Randall Ensign and David Zimmerman for terms to expire December 31st, 2028 on the Mission Lake Tidegate Service Area.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer Whiteside and members of the Assembly. The Borough Clerk's Office advertised the impending vacancies as required by the Kodiak Island Borough Code on October 18 and October 25, 2025 on the Kodiak Daily Mirror with an application deadline of November 14, 2025. Attached to your packet are the applications that were submitted and the rosters for the different boards, committees, and commissions. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Assembly discussion. Roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next is confirmation of assembly appointment to the Women's Bay Service Area Board of Mr. Blake Strain. Mr. Johnson.
Move to confirm the assembly appointment of Mr. Blake Strain to the Women's Bay Service Area Board for a term to expire October 2028.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer and members of the Assembly. We have received the application from Mr. Blake Strain, and then the process in the code is that for service area boards, we needed to put forward the application to the service area board and wait for their recommendation. We have followed that procedure, and we have received a recommendation to the Assembly for you to appoint him to a term expiring December or October 2028. Thank you.
Thank you. Assembly discussion. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. I just want to thank him and the other folks who've thrown their name in the hat for these. It's thankless work and much appreciated. I did have one question on process. Do we see any, I assume we still see any applicants regardless of service area recommendation?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any applications for a particular board, let's say, for example, there's only one seat, but there are 3 applicants in the packet. If we did receive 3, we will present those to you.
Thank you. I was about 99% sure, but wanted to confirm.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next item is declaring a city seat vacant on the Planning and Zoning Commission for Mr. Nick Mangini. Mr. Johnson.
Move to accept with regret the resignation of Mr. Nick Mangini from the Planning and Zoning Commission, city seat, effective December 17th, 2025, and to direct the Borough Clerk to advertise the vacancy in accordance with Borough Code 2 TAC 100, TAC 070 Delta.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer and members of the Assembly. We would like to thank Mr. Mancini for his service on the commission and congratulate him on being appointed to the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Assembly discussion? I agree. Thank you, Mr. Mangini. If you do stream these or are listening, we appreciate your service. Roll call vote on the motion, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Next item is declaring a seat vacant on the Architectural and Engineering Review Board for Mr. Victor Weaver. Mr. Johnson.
Move to accept with regret the resignation of Mr. Victor Weaver from the Architectural and Engineering Review Board effective December 5th, 2025, and direct the Borough Clerk to advertise the vacancy in accordance with Borough Code 2, TAC 100, TAC 070 Delta.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer and members of the Assembly. We have received a resignation from Mr. Weaver, and once you vacate the seat, we'll go ahead and advertise it as required by code. Thank you.
Thank you. Assembly discussion? Roll call vote on the motion, please.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. For those who wish to call in, the local number is 907-486-3231. Toll-free number is 1-855-492-9202. Please turn off your radio or any listening device to prevent feedback. For those in the room who wish to speak under citizens' comments, please come to the podium and sign in. Turn on the microphone, make sure the green light is on before speaking, and speak directly into the mic. State your name for the record, address all remarks to the Assembly as a body, and not to any member thereof. We have a caller? Okay.
We're now answering a call from the queue.
Assembly regular meeting, please state your name for the record.
My name is Brenda Schwantes.
Hi, Brenda, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Borough Assembly. I've been participating in your hour meeting tonight and listening. And I also was fortunate to participate in the Planning and Zoning meeting last night. And there was a lot of comments last night about the existing proposal for the Lesnoy land proposal. And what happened was it was tabled, apparently, for a couple of months. But really what should happen with that is it should be voted down and the individuals should be invited back with more details, because everybody that commented last night requested more information. So there's no way the proposal can go forward unless the, Assembly ignores the community. So it should just be voted down and then reintroduced at some later point. So thank you for that. And also, in the beginning of the meeting, the Roberts Rules of Order process was sort of thwarted. The land shack or the landfill proposal 2026-25 should have also been voted on. It should not have been, you guys conducted business all night tonight and voted on things. There's no reason why you couldn't have voted on that. And I think, that your process was sorted with maybe a little bit of misleading information, because you could have voted it down tonight, and I think you should have. Instead of fearing a negative result and then postponing it just because of that. So, but I do appreciate your time. I know it's hard work, so thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to make a comment. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other phone calls? All right. Okay, we'll move on to Assembly member comments. Mr. Gardner.
Pleasure working with you guys. I'm going to continue to be frustrating whenever there's large numbers involved. But I'm always open to talking, and my mind can be changed. I don't come in here with my mind perfectly set on something. I like that we postpone that, even though I know that it's probably going to go the wrong way. But that's a more democratic way to do the process. And like I said, my mind can be changed. All that being said, great job, everybody. I'm going to be off island from the 23rd to the 8th. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all that.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. I want to start by saying I appreciate the public comments tonight. I think one of the most important attributes of anyone serving in a public capacity is the ability to listen and change their views when presented with new or different information or perspectives. As I said before, though, I also believe that we can hold multiple things to be true at the same time. The way we've always done things is a great hindrance to progress. And because something was initially planned one way doesn't mean it becomes a sacred cow. It doesn't mean it can't be changed or shouldn't be changed as circumstances change. It's to clarify my earlier comment this week, since it was brought up several times. I always say I'm not a great public speaker, and I stand by that. I'm not hostile to tourism as an industry. I think personally that Kodiak has long benefited from high value added tourism. I fully support that. What I don't support and what I will continue to rail against publicly in this position is what I call Walmart tourism or industrialized tourism. It's high volumes of people moving through without spending great deals of money. I've seen too many coastal towns in Alaska think that they've got the magic formula to keep that from happening, and it's yet to succeed. So the ability to continue encouraging the high value added tourism while not opening the floodgates to become another cruise ship destination is my intent. And the levers of government we have available to us to prevent that are the ones I will look to pull. And if that's not the will of the rest of the assembly, I recognize I may be in the minority, and I'm okay with that. Back to that conversation on the use of those funds in the future. I'm not a very smart person, so I like to see what smart people do. When we bring this discussion back up, I'd like to see some benchmarking. What do other communities in Alaska do with their, again, in colloquially, bed tax? Does every community in Alaska commit all of it to a dedicated tourism fund, or do they also look to use it for housing development or infrastructure that supports tourism? I think those are good questions to ask, and if every other community in the state does it the same way we're doing it now, then it's probably a good reason, and smarter people than me have tried and realized that's not the way to go. So, as I said, I'm absolutely willing to change my mind, but those are my thoughts on that specific topic. Likewise, I'll be traveling. I'm leaving the 23rd, and we'll be back, I believe, the 3rd. Merry Christmas, everyone, and stay safe. Enjoy the cold weather.
Thanks. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you. Wanted to thank the Borough staff for everything they do in answering our questions in the sessions and meetings, or following up and getting those answers to us in a timely manner. I appreciate that a lot. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, celebrate safely. I will also be off island starting the 20th and being back on the 3rd.
Thank you. I've been giving a lot of thought since Tuesday on what can we do to address our process. So this type of scenario will come up again frequently, in that if an idea is posed by a member of the assembly or from staff and a project gets underway as far as whether it's a feasibility study or staff time spent, which is valuable in both cost and I guess the taking up capacity for the professional services they provide our community. So I've been giving a lot of thought to how can we revisit the process? Should we think about different types of projects? What categories do they fall into? Do they fall into strict health and safety in there? Are they time sensitive? Do those just continue with our current process? Or is it more on the discretionary side? Where I think we find a lot of projects that are on the discretionary side. I won't speak to them individually, but there are some, if the project does not go through, then will that result, what kind of result will that, or what kind of, I guess, what would be the downside result of that? Would it be a loss of service? Would it be a comfort item that would just be a benefit to the community? Or is it more critical in nature? So basically what I'm getting at is I think there's a way we can start categorizing these different projects. That way we can avoid termination cost. So termination cost is a real thing, and I agree with comments made. Just because someone had an idea, staff spent time on it, money was spent to get it towards different phases of development, I agree, but it doesn't mean we have to be beholden by that. But I do feel that we are wasting taxpayer dollars as well. So I think there's improvement in the process. So I'm going to give a lot of thought to this. I have a few ideas bubbling around on how we can improve that process to save money and equally important, staff time, which is extremely valuable to us in the community. So I'm going to work on that. Expect an ordinance coming from me at some point, or at least a discussion item on how we can clean that up. But that aside, enjoy your travels, everyone. Time spent with family. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks to those who come in, sit with us, and those who call in and share your thoughts with us. We appreciate all of you. So do we have a Mr. Johnson?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. The regular meeting is adjourned at 8:02 p.m.